I've seen several people, not everyone, but the best people, complaining that South Park is not the same anymore. They say it lost its way, that South Park is no longer the show it used to be. Well, this really pissed me off, and I decided to bring to you a list of the 10 best episodes released in the last 10 seasons to prove once and for all that, yes, the show is still good. Today we are going to try to prove once and for all and finally shut up the critics, showing that South Park hasn't dropped, that it's not a bad show. In fact, there are several episodes released in the last 10 years that are just as good as the nostalgic episodes. And that's the goal of this video. We want to convince you, the ones who say the show lost its essence and is not as good as it used to be, that South Park is still just as good as before. Not better, but it's definitely not bad, dude. So, come along with us. If by any chance you landed here by accident and are enjoying our content, please subscribe here and leave that wonderful like because we really deserve it. And if you already watch our content and enjoy it, but haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Go. After all the rambling, let's get to this list. So, here at number 10 on the list of episodes that are meant to make you change your mind, we have an episode from the 15th season, which seems like a long time ago, but it's actually within the last 10 seasons, and we're going to try to make you change your mind. It's episode 4 of season 15, called Peep, where Randy kind of makes a mess, and we'll explain exactly how. This is one of those episodes where Cartman puts the mouse on and sees a banner comparing the boys, thinking it's a comparison between the chicks, but it was actually totally off. In the end, it wasn't what he thought, and he says, "Dude, this is wrong. My number is bigger than this. Let's measure this thing by an average of everyone." And he puts it up on a poster for everyone to see. But dude, it wasn't the size of any school's chick, and doing this only increased the number of boys who had grown since the last measurement the school did. Cartman gets completely pissed when he finds out that his size was the smallest of them all. After finding that out, he gets furious and is sent to an anger management clinic, right? To do anger management therapy. And in this therapy, there are all kinds of people. There's a kid named Indica, who is really mad at his mom. There's a guy who's a sailor, a guy from the army, and a big one. And we notice that all these people in this anger management therapy have issues with the size of their chickens. The episode takes a crazy 180-degree turn, where they end up invading FedEx and taking everyone hostage. And it's really good, dude. Now, at number 9 on our list, where we aim to convince you to change your mind, we have the second episode of the 21st season of South Park, called Por Ital, or something like that in Portuguese. In this episode, the story is really cool. It mixes existential angst with the crisis of two completely crazy guys, the real-life owner and Kim Jong-un. But, like, back then, only South Park was the Mr. Gerson. In another plotline of the episode, Cartman does several things to get attention for himself, even threatening something I can't talk about. And as a good, excellent character in the case, the episode ends with a scene at the portal where they play a song. The things that happen, they ask for a moment to generate the type of news. Let's get out of this bubble, right? In the end, nobody cares about that. Everyone goes for the advice to get out of the bubble, like disconnecting a bit from Twitter, the headlines, and CNN. And in the end, everyone ends up saying that disconnecting is good. Now, at number 8, we have a somewhat recent episode from the 23rd season of South Park, released in 2019. The episode is the last one of this season and is called Christmas Snow. In this episode, Randy stops selling marijuana and starts selling something else. Everyone starts comparing it to marijuana. Santa Claus then appears, kind of like, let's stop driving drunk on Christmas Eve because that's dangerous. But in the end, everyone ignores it. They go out drunk and drive around. However, in the episode, they end up being responsible for the ban on selling alcohol until January 2nd. In other words, until all the holiday parties are over. Since the sale of alcohol was banned, the mayor asks Randy to start selling marijuana again, even though the marijuana season at Resendi's farm was over. And Resendi agrees and says, "We need something new." He then gets inspired by the falling snow and decides to add cocaine to the marijuana. This creates such a huge mess, but a really huge mess, that even Jesus comes to investigate the whole thing. And Randy ends up convincing him to approve his special with cocaine, which gets all heavy. This episode is crazy. And now at number 7 on our list, we have the episode that started the whole farm saga. Which episode has the shake? We're running into some technical issues. This is the 4th episode of season 22 called Tegrity Farm's Halloween Special. This joke took a long time to wrap up, and it still hasn't ended. It started with Shelley, who we don't believe actually spoke to her. It started with Shelley kind of sending photos that she shouldn't have, but hold on, it wasn't a photo of her. She was sending pictures of a dog's butt to a guy to get him to leave her alone while she was doing that teenage thing. I don't know what it's called, but it's showing up here on the screen. He smiled and moved on with his life. Like, dude, let's go to the farm. Let's get out of this city modernity and go to the farm. Let go of the hustle, but he had to go one way or another. And on this farm, along with the towel, Randy Marsh started the beloved and hated Tegrity Farms, where he sold his equally beloved and hated marijuana. After that, he went to China to sell the marijuana, which caused a huge mess, where perhaps, possibly, who knows, he might have been responsible for creating that disease that still isn't over. But at number 7, we have this episode, which is really good, by the way. Now, moving on to number 6 on our list, the episode we're going to try to convince you to change your mind about, my dear viewer. And in this spot, we have the episode Safe Space from Season 19. We actually talked about this one here on the channel a few days ago, dude. So, in case you haven't seen it, we did a complete analysis of this episode and how it shows that sometimes we try to cover up all the negative comments without realizing that, in fact, these comments are coming from people who won't add anything to our lives. So, what happens in the episode? Well, Cartman is kind of crying in the principal's office because his shirtless, semi-nude pictures leaked online, and everyone started attacking him. Like, everyone started criticizing him, and he, in turn, called Butters at the end to filter the bad comments. And every post that Cartman makes, he wants Butters to filter it. This ends up turning into chaos as Butters has to filter comments on posts about Invincible, Demi Lovato, and several other people. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, Randy Marsh, every time he buys something at the supermarket, the cashier or the golf cashier comes up with a different way to shame him, picking apart the details of life's tapestry. He doesn't want to, donate money to their cause, but the cashier, every time, makes him try in some way to donate and humiliates him. This whole situation is so bad, trying to escape the crazy cashier who always humiliates him until he learns a very valuable lesson for our lives. People who don't add anything to our lives often make negative comments just to put us down, but they're never people who really bring anything positive into our lives. This is a really good episode, and you should watch it. Continuing in Season 19, we have number 5 on our list, the episode Tweek X Craig. The most sensational and incredible couple in your mind right now is made up of Tweek and Craig. So, let's tell you how this story goes. Well, there are some Asian girls there who make some drawings. Somewhat compromising drawings of Tweek and Craig. They won't stop drawing them as a couple. And they've asked several times, dude, I don't like these drawings, stop doing this. But the Asian girls keep drawing Tweek and Craig as a couple. So they have the brilliant idea. Okay, they won't stop seeing us together. What do we do? How about we actually admit we're a couple? Okay, cool. Then they break up in front of everyone. And the girls finally stop making those darn drawings, those darn arts. But I think this isn't going to work. And in the end, it didn't work out very well. Tweek, in this case, takes the breakup too seriously and starts pretending it's a breakup scene. He starts accusing Craig of cheating on him. And after they break up, because they were never really together, the crowd sides with Tweek. Do the Asian girls think they're now going to stop making their art? No, they keep drawing the two of them apart, and the town is completely devastated when Tweek and Craig break up. Until, in the end, they decide, let's get back together because everyone is sad, dude, that we broke up. Let's go, let's stay together. And they've been together ever since. And now, we've reached number 4 on our list, where it's not just one episode. It's 3 episodes, the Black Friday trilogy from Season 17 of South Park. These episodes need no introduction, right? They're amazing episodes, and you know this trilogy. So I'll just mention one scene I love, which is the sequence of scenes. I love decorations. What's amazing is that this comes right out of the wallet. There are several scenes that follow each other. Randy Marsh invites a bunch of people to make Pax and Trouble, parodying Game of Thrones. Okay, he invites everyone to go to the crazy garden, completely randomly. And this guy, every time someone shows up, says, dude, get out of my garden, please. And Cartman keeps bringing more and more different people to try to make plans and act behind these same people's backs. Until the guy, the owner of the garden, can't take it anymore and says, dude, I'm going to poop in this guy's garden. In the end, he takes all the Xboxes and deals with the situation with the others because things are getting crazier by the minute. This trilogy needs no introduction, you know it, and you know it's amazing. So, it's a great representation of South Park in the last 10 years. And now, we've reached number 3 on our list, which is the episode The Robert, another episode you're tired of hearing about. So you'll briefly see Allison Berger, who's a girl from Winterson, and everyone keeps saying she's not that pretty until she decides to use Photoshop. She does her makeup and edits herself in Photoshop and becomes incredibly beautiful. Bolo falls completely in love with her, which is a parallel to the invention and idea that celebrities are incredibly beautiful, like Kim Kardashian. The episode focuses on this, and Kim Kardashian thinks she's the most beautiful woman in the world, but in reality, it's all Photoshop. But then, where does the Hobbit fit into all this? The Hobbit enters during the part with Kelly or Kanye West. He spends the entire episode trying to prove that Kim Kardashian is not a Hobbit. He even argues with the Pope, and the Pope says, "Show him the truth, that Kim Kardashian is a Hobbit because all the characteristics of being a Hobbit apply to her." And that's the twist in Kim Kardashian's life. So, here at number 3, we have the episode The Robert from season 17 of South Park. And now, once again, we've reached an episode that we also discussed here on the channel, which is the most intelligent or complicated episode. I like to call it the more intelligent one. It's a completely crazy episode, and it's our number 2 on the list, episode number 7 from season 18 of South Park. What happens basically in this episode, aside from the blog getting screwed? Because when he leaves with the little room there, that's all that happens to him. Cartman is kind of playing a prank on Butters, making him wear a virtual reality headset that somehow isn't real. And he makes Butters clean the sidewalk and collect money from an old lady. He starts doing crazy things like, "Oh, since I'm already in my virtual reality, if I go to my house, I'll..." And he goes to his house, punches his dad in the balls, and goes completely crazy like a car. He crashes the car and doesn't post it. He tries to rob a sex worker, one of those women. So, he tries to rob her, but she stabs him multiple times. He ends up in the hospital, badly injured. The car is totally destroyed, and he's freaked out because now we'll find out what he did. So, he goes to Banner and says they're in a virtual reality, and if he dies there in this virtual reality, he'll die in real life. And he freaks out and makes Butters believe this. The episode takes such a sharp, crazy turn that the 4 boys end up trying to figure out who's really in virtual reality because they can't decide who's in virtual reality. If anyone's really in virtual reality because every time they try to escape the simulation, they enter another simulation. It's a constant loop, and they even call the crazy guy with the virtual reality glasses, and this guy also gets stuck in the loop, which is a crazy thing. This episode is really good, dude. Watch it. I just asked if I'm convincing you that South Park is still good because I'm not sure I'm doing my job right. But we've reached number 1, which is the episode You're Getting Old, from season 15, and it's really good. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's good. It's good, dude. Another great one. And I don't have to say anything else. Eva, it's great. Let's wash. And for a change, guess what? Yes, we've already made a video about this episode here on the channel, but the story of the episode is still a really cool one. It's an episode with a great lesson. Stan is turning 10 in this episode, which is the first in a 2-part episode titled You're Getting Old. This is the episode we're talking about, and the next episode is Burgers, which reminds us of this one. So, Stan is getting old, right? He turns 10 and gets a CD from Kyle with songs he should like. But Stan starts not liking it anymore. He begins to see both the music he used to listen to and like, and the world in general, as if everything is crap, as if nothing makes sense anymore. This is something many people go through in life, this transition between being a kid and becoming an adult. The things we like change, and sometimes we get lost in this transition, asking ourselves, what do I do with my life now? I can't like anything anymore. Who am I? Along with that, his life turns into complete madness because his parents get divorced. His friends, who would be the people who could help him get through this phase, distance themselves. He becomes a completely annoying guy because, now I hate everything. He starts complaining about everything and isn't fun to be around anymore. So his friends distance themselves from him. In other words, Stan is completely alone. His parents got divorced, his friends aren't around anymore, and he's in the middle of this sea of uncertainty, trying to figure out what's happening and just take the next step, which isn't an easy thing to do. So, I believe that You're Getting Old is one of the best episodes of South Park. And it's the episode I recommend to people who sometimes say the show lost its essence, that it's not as good as it used to be. So, that's it. These are the 10 episodes that, if you watch, could change your mind and show you that South Park is still an amazing show. Comment here if I missed any really great episodes from this period, which goes from season 15 to season 25, the current season. How did you like the video? Do you have any suggestions for videos for us? Stay here on the channel and watch this video that's showing up here for you. I'll see you there. Thank you so much for your audience. Have a great day and see you next time.